Bra. Nice to be here at Spotify. When I was young, we didn't have Spotify. No, if we wanted to share music and playlists, we would have to create a blandband. You know, when you push record and stop, because you wanted all the good songs from Trackslistan, but you did not want Kajkin Val. But thank you, Spotify, we don't need that anymore. So I'm going to talk a little bit about coaching, but I'm not going to learn you anything new. I think all the other speakers, they have much more interesting stuff than I do. But I will tell you my story, how I got in touch with coaching. And when I say coaching, I'm not talking about a formal session between a coach and a client. It's more like a leader style or a coaching attitude towards other people. And I think the most important thing about coaching, and this is good because this makes it easy, because it's just one thing to remember, is that it's not about you, it's about the other person. You have to have a sincere and genuine interest for that other person. On the other hand, if you don't have that, it's going to be quite hard, I think, no matter how many books you read or how many courses you take in coaching. And so my message at the end of this is that it's easy, and if you haven't started to coach anyone, you should. But it wasn't that easy for me. For me it was difficult. Because 5 years ago, I started to work as a project manager, and finally, I was the project manager. Now I could run the project my way. Because I was the manager, I could manage the project, I could manage the people in the project, I could manage the code in the project. I managed everything in the project, and I managed the project without asking any questions, because I knew what I wanted. And I could tell you what to do, and I could tell you how to do it, because I didn't really trust you to do it. I wanted you to do it my way. And when we started with Scrum, I thought this became even more better, because now I could call myself a master, Scrum Master. And please bring me my tea. Yes, Master. Oh, I like the sound of that. And my boss, he came to me one day, and he would say, Magnus, I really want you to start a new project, and you should use this prototype, and you should build an application on top of that. We shall not use a prototype, I said. But Magnus, we have spent so many hours, we have invested time, we don't want to throw it away. We are not using a prototype. But Magnus, I think you are the only one who can do this. We are. Give me the prototype. And that was the stupidest thing that we ever did in this project. Because this prototype, the code was not tested, it was not verified, it was not reviewed, it was just full of bugs. And it was the most dumb snåla we ever did, because we didn't save any time and money. Instead, we started from day one with this technical debt and problems. And in this project, we had problems everywhere. We had problems with communication, we had problems with estimations, problems with the quality, problems everywhere. One thing that wasn't a problem really, we had a tester, he was good. But the problem was he was too good, because he found more bugs than we had time to fix. And our bug backlog just kept on growing, and the deadlines kept on coming closer, and I tried to sweep the problems under the carpet, or push them to the future, and could solve it in some maintenance release. But I began to get stressed, and I had a pain in my stomach. And I actually began losing sleep at night. And I remember I could wake up in the middle of the night, and the questions and problems from work, they were spinning in my head, and I couldn't go back to sleep until I solved it. And they were like stones which you would put on top of each other. And then you would have a gigantic mountain of trouble, because a mountain which I couldn't get over. And at work, it just got heavier and heavier. And it was like working in quicksand. The more you move, the more you work, the more you sink. And I got to a point where I didn't know what to do. I was thinking about calling in sick, or quitting my job, or just keep on sinking because I wanted to disappear from this project. And then a colleague and a friend come by and said, "Hey Magnus, what's up? You look like shit." Yeah, we have some problems in the project. Problems? Yeah, we have problems in every project. Yeah, but I have problems in my project, and they are real problems, you know. But what's the problem? Well, I mean, I'm the leader, and I cannot really solve the problem. Who do you think you are, MacGyver? You're not going to solve the problems by yourself. You're going to use the team, use the sprint retrospective, work together. What? I never took that course in Stockholm. But his word made me somehow realize that in this quicksand which I was standing in, I felt something, and it was solid ground, and I could stand in the quicksand and just relax and listen to him while he was talking about sprint retrospectives and continuous improvement. And it was like his words, they were pulling me out of the quicksand. And I could look at this mountain of problems from another angle. And I looked from it. Looking down from above, I saw it was no mountain. It was just a couple of small problems down there, and it was nothing. And just a minute ago, I was like down in the hole. I was terrified. I had pain in my stomach. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to quit my job, and now I'm all fired up. I want to start working, solving problems. I feel I had the tools and the resources. Man, I was feeling good now. And the best thing is, I mean, of course, I learned something about retrospectives and continuous improvement, but the most important thing I learned was that it was okay to fail. It was normal to fail, and that failure sometimes is also necessary for us to learn something new. It's like a kid that would learn how to walk. You wouldn't have a deadline and say, you have 1 week, otherwise we'll kick you out. No, I mean, the kid would learn by himself, by trying and falling, trying once more and falling, and he would just get better and better. And in the same way, I started to adopt this failing, learning by failing. And I started to welcome failing and embracing failing. And I thought, even if I would faint or fall off the stage, I mean, that would just be a failure, and I would learn something from it. So failure became part of my daily learning process. And by accepting this failure, I stopped to be so self-obsessed. I stopped being so focused on my career. I stopped worrying about how I looked and how I talked and how I smelled, because it was not really that important anymore. And when I stopped doing that, I started to see my team members. It was like I saw them for the first time as persons, not as resources. And then I could see some of them, they were struggling. And they were actually trying to solve one of these advanced problems that I had handed out earlier when I was this demanding project manager that demanded perfection. And now I would walk up to them and say, "Hey, what's up? We can help each other. Maybe we can learn something from this." And I would start to encourage them. I would start to support them. I would start to really see what they were doing. And this was new for me. And thank you. All of a sudden, I have started, without even knowing it, to take my first steps on having a coaching attitude towards my team members, because I started to be interested in them and interested in their well-being. And I said earlier that coaching is really easy because there's just one really important thing, and that is to have that, to find that interest in that other person. No matter if you read hundreds of books, the techniques will not really help you all the way if you cannot have that interest in the person that you're trying to help. And even if it was quite a bumpy road for me to get there, I hope that my journey would serve as some kind of inspiration. And I hope that your journey to becoming a coach would be much easier. Thank you.